Hey YouTube, today we're going to be looking at a couple full-size double-stack Glock pistols. And before we go any further into this, I'm going to show you that we are not loaded on either one of these Glocks. And everybody is safe to watch this video. There will be no magic bullets coming through the camera. So what we have here is, on top here, we have a Glock 21 chambered in 45 ACP. And on the bottom here, we have a Glock 17 chambered in 9mm. Now, folks, before we go any further, I'm going to let you know that I don't feel that either one of these guns are great for concealed carry. If you live in a state that allows open carry, both of these are excellent choices. But if you're trying to conceal carry these, I think these are going to be a little large for concealed carry. I know there's people out there that can pull it off, but I'm not one of those people, and I don't live in a state where you can open carry. Maybe one day they'll come to their senses and allow people to do that, but right now where I live, you cannot do that. So what we'll do is we'll start off with the larger of the two. This is a Glock 21 chambered in 45 ACP, and this one happens to be a Gen 4 Glock 21. So this is a full-size double-stacked 45 ACP, and if you look at it, it absolutely takes up your whole hand. This is a full-size man's gun, and if you can look it down the bore of it, it's pretty large because of the 45 ACP. Capacity on this thing is 13 rounds in the magazine of 45 ACP and one in the chamber, so that would make essentially 14 rounds of 45 ACP. The next one we have here, we have a Generation 5 Glock 17. This is a full-size double-stacked 9mm. And if you look at it, look down the bore, it's much smaller on it. And the capacity on this thing is going to be 17 rounds in the chamber and one in the gun. So that would be essentially, you would be carrying 18 rounds of 9mm. Now, we're going to discuss some of the advantages and disadvantages to each one of these. I see both of these as a side carry piece for open carry, or I see them as like a home defense gun. So when you're looking at the two as a home defense gun, that's the scenario we'll use. Size really doesn't matter, but we'll compare them side by side here. And if you'll look, the 45 one on the right here is a little bit wider than the 9mm on the left, but there isn't that much difference, folks. It isn't that much at all. If you look at them in lengthwise, they are identically the same length. Same exact length, same height, same length. The 45 is going to be a little bit larger, just a little bit bulkier. If you look at them side by side, the 45 definitely is a little bit beefier. But essentially, you look at them like this, they're the same height, same size, same full-size gun here. 45 is just a little bit wider. Now, does that matter when you're using this for a home defense scenario? I don't feel it does. I don't feel that it's that much bigger that you couldn't use either one of these for a home defense situation. Now, what are some of the advantages and disadvantages to it? Well, with the 9mm here, you're definitely going to have an advantage when it comes to capacity. You're going to be carrying 18 rounds versus 15 rounds on the 45. The 45 is going to only have 15 rounds if you count the one in the chamber. So the capacity is really going to go to the 9mm. Now, power-wise, when you want to knock down a target or a threat, definitely going to have advantage when it comes to the 45. So as I've said in many of my videos, takes less 45s than it does 9mm. You're going to need the extra 9mm if that's the route you decide to go. Not a 9mm hater, folks. I have 9mm, as you can see. 45 is a superior round in every way. In every different test that you can have, the 45 is a better round. Now, when you get into these identical size guns here, the 9mm does have the advantage when it comes to capacity wise. Now, this one here, this Glock 21, this happens to be a Gen 4, and we are going to go into this one day. Some of the differences in a Gen 4 and Gen 5, but You look at them, the textures are the same, but this one happens to have the almighty finger grooves on the front that the Glock people like to debate on whether that's a cool thing or not. It doesn't bother me at all. My fingers fit in them like gloves. The Gen 5 one does not have any finger grooves, so pretty much wherever your fingers fall, it'll be fine. On the side of the Gen 5, the slide stop is going to be ambidextrous. On the Gen 4, it is not. And one of the other differences is the pins that hold in the fire control group. There's 2 of them in this one. On the Gen 5, there's only 1. And one of the differences is the front of the Gen 5 has a beveled front edge to the slide. On the Gen 4, it does not. It's kind of squared off, kind of a traditional Glock style. That's some of the minor differences in them. But folks, when you're looking at these 2 guns here for self-defense, they're both absolutely great options to go to. These guns have been around for 40 years now, give or take. I don't know, I can't think right off the top of my head the exact years the release of each one of them. This was in the early 80s, I know that. And they call them Glock Perfection. They don't call them that for nothing. They're absolutely reliable. You're never going to find another gun that's going to go boom every time, go bang every time. You're never going to have to worry about it. It's almost revolver reliable. However, everybody has their caliber differences, and everybody has their preferences and what they choose to use. And some people are 9mm people, and some people are 45 people. So whichever one you choose to go with, they're both effective rounds. But this 45 here, you're going to be lacking 3 less rounds if you choose to go this route. The 9mm, you're going to have the capacity, but you're not going to have quite the power that you would with the 45. So maybe that's one other thing to think about, folks. You're gonna have 3 more rounds. You're probably gonna need them all with the 9mm. But anyway, folks, I wanted to show you side by side, show you how similar these guns are, similar in size. They're both different calibers. Of course, the 45 is going to be a little bit bigger, but is it really that much bigger, folks? When you're talking about a home defense gun that sits on your nightstand or in your drawer or something like that, size really doesn't matter in this case. I know a lot of things in life, size matters, but this is not one of those scenarios. You have 2 very great choices here. You have your 45 ACP full-size Glock 21, and you have your full-size Glock 17 chambered 9mm. So ultimately, the choice is up to you. I recommend either one of them. I think they're both great choices. If you have any questions on either one of these 2 guns, folks, feel free to reach out to me. I'm not a Glock expert by any means. I'm not a home defense expert by any means, but I do know enough to be dangerous about this stuff. I've been around firearms a long time. I have separate videos on each one of these explaining them in depth. So anyway, folks, thank you very much for watching my video today, and you folks have a great day.